Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Uncle Lander and this is Mass Effect Legendary Edition with mods Vanguard playthrough. On the last episode we have managed to rescue Liara from quite a peculiar situation. And right now we are back on the ship. We already have heard a word or two from the council that is of course as supportive as I'm actually not gonna put any comparison about it because that would be too personal. Anyway, we're currently playing, as I said, Vanguard level 16 with 207 health, and build for my Vanguard is ever so slightly different than any other build. Basically, normally when you build a Vanguard, you think pistols, a little bit of pistols, the rest of it is shotguns. I have decided to pick a bonus ability, and I have decided to grind the assault rifles on my Vanguard instead of going for shotguns. But besides that, assault training is currently at 5, tactical armor, throw, warp barrier, assault rifles, Vanguard is at 4, charm is at 8, intimidation at 1 because it's the one force point that you're always gonna get, and Spectre training is at 4. So, right now, let's go around the ship, let's collect all the codex, let's deal with all the conversations, and then we're gonna go to the Citadel so we can complete all possible side quests that are being placed over there. Let's check the entire okay, wait, hold on. No, that's gonna take me down. Galaxy map? No, I don't need that. I know there is a codex entry later about the galaxy map. This is why I'm looking for headed monitor, that's additional experience. And there we go. EXP. So charm still stays as it is. It seems like I'm gonna put 1 point in tactical armor and finally 1 additional point into, I think, throw. Yeah, just put in throw. It's not gonna hurt me. The next 2 levels are gonna be warp and barrier. And I don't think Joker has anything new to say. I do remember...
I prefer gold to silver.
Never mind. He actually does.
I figured you'd recommend me for one since I pulled your boots out of the fire.
If we present you with a medal, you'll end up sitting on stage listening to politicians make speeches for a couple of hours.
That's a good point. They'd probably make me shave, too. I spent the last 7 weeks working on this baby. No medal's worth that. So, Commander, why don't you tell me why you're really here?
Not really, because we already had the other conversation options and other information already. We already have gathered it.
I have to go.
All right, see ya.
Romans with the interview with the journalist. That happens in Mass Effect 3. So it's gonna be a long while before we're gonna go for that. In a matter of fact, I'm not going for any romances throughout my throughout my Mass Effect playthroughs, but if I had to pick a romance at any point of time, I'd always go for Tali. I just like her character the most. I know that a close friend of mine says that she's annoying. I can see why, but she doesn't bother me. I actually really like Tali. But basically for YouTube reasons and yeah, mostly YouTube reasons, I prefer not to go for any romances whatsoever. I simply prefer to be safe than sorry. I don't think that any of my playthroughs I have took any romances. In a matter of fact, I actually avoid talking to Kaidan because when you play as a female character, as a female shepherd, the more you talk with him, the more the relationship with him is being forced upon you. You don't have that choice with the female shepherd as you have with the male, which I find to be kind of weird.
Yes, Commander? Goodbye, Commander.
Okay, so she doesn't have anything new to say. I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah, I can replenish my Medigel. In a matter of fact, when we're gonna go to the Citadel, we're gonna get upgraded capacity for Medigel and grenades. At least I believe so.
Commander, are you coming to check up on me?
Yeah, and also another thing, because I'm pretty sure that this bothersome to some people. Every single time when I rotate my head like this, I'm basically checking on the other room if my grandmother doesn't need anything, if basically, you know, she doesn't require anything. just checking out on her, and because, you know, it's just an eyesight thing, I can just look at her and I'll immediately know what's wrong. She's currently napping, so it's all good. She doesn't really hear that much from what I'm streaming right now, so it's even better. Anyway, I was worried.
You look much better. How are you feeling?
Dr. Chakwas assures me I am going to be fine. I was impressed with her knowledge of Asari physiology.
You're in good hands. Dr. Chakwas knows what she's doing.
I never properly thanked you for saving me from the Geth, Commander. If you hadn't shown up,
I'm just glad we got there in time.
so am I. I know you took a chance bringing me aboard this ship. I have seen the way your crew looks at me. They do not trust me. But I am not like Benezia. I will do whatever I can to help you stop Saren. I promise.
If there's... Okay, so... The only complaint that I had about Liara in Mass Effect 1 that she's performing really, really robotic. She's a really robotic character. She definitely evolves much better in Mass Effect 2 and 3, but when it comes to Mass Effect 1, she's just as... She's just... I really think that she's very robotic, and she says that the crew doesn't really like her. Well, when you are being a walking chat GPT, then I'm not really surprised. So sheltered, kinda, maybe, yeah. Also, hello Nadle, hope you're doing well. And I believe I haven't said that, but this episode and every single other episode of my Mass Effect playthrough is being recorded live on my Twitch channel. Twitch.tv/UncleLander. Come in and say hi, where I'm playing a variety of video games and genuinely enjoying having all the conversations. Hello Thrax, hope you're doing well as well. Alright, I know.
Don't worry, Liara. I trust you. I know you won't let me down.
It means a lot to hear you say that, Commander. Thank you.
Alright, I would like from you to tell me more about your mother, because technically after visiting the Citadel for supplies and some of the side missions, we're gonna be off to find your mother. I'm just saying, there's nothing provocative about that whatsoever.
Do you know why Benezia joined up with Saren?
I don't understand it. She was always outspoken about the need for the Asari to become more involved in shaping galactic events. Maybe she thought allying herself with Saren would somehow be for the greater good in the long run. At least I hope so.
This hurts you, doesn't it?
None of this makes any sense to me. I have not spoken to Benezia in many years, but I know her, and this was not like her. Something changed.
I'd like to know more about the Asari.
We were the first species to discover the Citadel. We were instrumental in forming the Council, and we always strive to be the voice of peaceful cooperation in galactic disputes. My people believe we are all part of a single galactic community. Each species contributes something to the greater whole. Although we seek to understand other species, it seems few of them seek to understand us. The galaxy is filled with rumors and misinformation about my people.
Yeah, they also can live for 1,000 years and can basically couple with every single other species available in the universe. In the Mass Effect universe, that is.
Like what?
Most of the inaccuracies are centered around our mating rituals. My species is monogendered. Male and female have no real meaning for us. We still require a partner to reproduce. This second parent, however, may be of any species and any gender.
And that's also true. Every single Asari in the game is a female Asari. There were a concept art for the male Asari, but that sadly got scrapped, and yeah. That got scrapped and it's non-existent. Basically, according to the lore, you know, Asaris are longer-lived species, but because they are kind of monogender, that basically, you know, it's kind of difficult for me to explain. I don't know why. I just cannot make a single sentence that makes sense at this point. I think it would be better if the game would explain it, so I don't confuse anybody.
I don't understand. Your species can mate with anyone?
They can.
Mating is not quite the proper term, not as you understand it. Physical contact may or may not be involved, but it is not an essential element of the union. The true connection is mental. Our physiology allows us to meld with other beings. We can touch the very depths of their minds. We explore the genetic memory of their species. We share the most basic elements of their individual and racial identities. We then pass these traits on to our daughters. It is how we learn to grow as a species and how we develop a greater understanding of other races.
And also, maybe that might be a little bit too much of information, but in Mass Effect universe, basically if Asari manages to reproduce with any other species, the effect of that coupling is always gonna be an Asari. It's not gonna be like mix of species. It's always gonna be Asari. Which humans kind of don't really bother with that, because Asari pretty much almost look like humans. The major difference is the skin color and the protrusions that are popping out of their heads.
What happens to your partner after the union?
Every relationship is different. Some unions are a single encounter with both parents parting ways afterwards. Others can be more long-term. Sometimes an Asari and her partner will stay together for many decades.
Who was your father? As a fan of Mass Effect series, I cannot stop laughing. But for people who just doesn't know it, I just don't want to spoil it. It's okay. So for me, Mass Effect series is that type of a game that I could talk a little bit about because I have some amount of knowledge, but I don't want to spoil people who are being like, "Huh, Mass Effect? I don't know about this game. I don't know anything about this game." So I don't want to ruin the excellent surprise for the people who have not played this game whatsoever.
Do you know who Matriarch Benezia chose as her partner?
She rarely spoke of her partner. Though I know my father, if you want to use that term, was another Asari.
Yes, in Asari culture, if you have basically it, right. So in the Asari culture, it is a top priority. It is the most fundamental thing that if you want to matter somewhat in their society, you need to reproduce with other species, because that guarantees their more diversity and more survivability. If Asari just repopulates with Safari, yeah, good job. If Asari still repopulates with another Asari, that kid is getting branded as the lesser in their society. It's just like a form of an insult. It's not really like any form, like, I don't know, like genetic deformity or anything like that. It's basically the kids from two Asaris are just getting branded as pure bloods, and they're basically getting bullied at school. That's pretty much what happens.
I thought you always needed another species to serve as one of the parents.
Think about it, Shepard. If we were not able to mate with our own species, we would have died out long before we ever mastered spaceflight and left our homeworld. Union with our own kind is no longer common, not for the purposes of reproduction. Most Asari believe it weakens our species. Asari daughters inherit racial traits from the father species. If both parents are Asari, then nothing has been gained, or so conventional wisdom would hold. I am what is sometimes called a pureblood. Though no Asari would ever be cruel enough to say the word to my face, it is a great insult among my people. It is possible Benezia's partner was embarrassed by their union. She may have been too ashamed to publicly acknowledge me as her offspring.
Yeah, because that actually makes sense, because publicly acknowledging that you have a relationship with same species instead of reproducing with another species that's supposed to make the race stronger, it like I said, it is insulting to their species, because I don't know, kind of a stupid prejudice in my opinion, but I guess you cannot escape any form of prejudice, no matter if you are talking humans or other interstellar, any interstellar alien life form.
Maybe she wanted to meet you but couldn't. Maybe something could have happened to her. Maybe she passed away.
You might be right. I hope you are. But I have no way to know for sure. Benezia never spoke of her partner. Whatever happened, it caused her too much pain to dwell on it. She raised me by herself, though that is not uncommon. Many Asari raise their children alone, particularly if the father species is short-lived. Often the partner will pass on long before the child reaches maturity.
Right. We already asked her who is her father. How do they deal with that? That's a negative option. Culture. Yeah. Okay. That's all that we're gonna.
I should go.
That's all that we're gonna ask.
Goodbye, Commander.
Because even if you would ask how's that problematic, Asari lived for 1,000 years. Asaris can kind of get over it. As kind of sad as it sounds, they actually can get over it. I'm gonna disagree with you on that one, Gasblow. I'm really gonna disagree on you. They are not. Sure, there are some stuck-up Asaris, but there's not really such thing as what you describe. I really don't like saying that word. Okay, so there's Codex. Engineer Adams is not gonna tell me anything, as far as I know.
Something I can do for you, Commander.
Nope.
Carry on.
He is good. What about Tally?
Oh, hello, Shepard.
And she's sad.
Are you okay?
I don't know. Your ship is amazing, and your crew's been really great to me, especially your chief engineer. But I just sort of feel out of place. The Normandy runs so smooth it feels like we're not even moving, and the engines are so quiet. How do you sleep at night?
The silence wakes you up?
Back on the flotilla, the last thing you want to hear is silence. It means an engine's died or an air filter shut down. I guess you don't have to worry about that here. But old habits die hard. But it's more than just the silence. This ship feels so empty. It's like half the crew is missing. Back home, I couldn't wait to go on my pilgrimage. I couldn't wait to get away from the crowds. Now that I'm out here, I kind of miss them.
Yeah, basically, if somebody have missed the previous episodes, Quarians, because Tali is a Quarian, is species that were basically always traveling in space because they had to escape from their own planet, as they created an artificial intelligence that became way too intelligent, and the moment they started to strike against them because they basically gained sentience, they started to destroy them, and that artificial intelligence have basically made them run away from their planet. And basically, after hundreds and hundreds of years of spatial exile, their immunity systems basically are very, very weakened. Therefore, they're wearing those costumes, but they managed to implement those costumes as part of their culture. And basically, for them living on a ship, that means there's something has to be happening on the ship to actually, you know, feel like there's a remote sense of safety. If something doesn't make a noise, it's not good. Usually that means that if something is decompressed into the vacuum, or there's some kind of severe malfunction that prevents the ship from working.
Sometimes we don't appreciate what we have till it's gone.
That's true. I'm starting to wonder if that's what the pilgrimage is really about. It's given me a whole new perspective on my people and our culture. You know, there's always a few who go on their pilgrimages and never return. I always assumed something bad happened to them, but maybe they just wanted a different life.
And yeah, also the ritual pilgrimage, for people who simply didn't see the previous episode when I was talking with everybody. Pilgrimage is a ritual. It's like maturing ritual for every single Quarian. They get sent into the space, and their mission objective is to bring something of value to the entire flotilla.
You do plan to return to the migrant fleet, right?
I could never abandon my people, Shepard. I will go back eventually, but we have to stop Saren first. Otherwise, I might not have a home to go back to.
And that's the end of all the conversations, because we already investigate everything else on the previous episode when we were talking with everybody else. Okay, I doubt the Alliance Requisition Officer has
Looking for
anything new.
supplies?
I'm gonna check it anyway,
Let's see what you got.
You bet.
because now I have a little bit more money. That's Kessler, Light Armor Human. How much money do I have? 24k. That's still gonna go for licenses. I think there's some licenses that are costing like 6k, give or take. Garrus.
Commander, how are you?
Tell me something about the CSEC. Actually, Garrus is a type of a character that every single time we're gonna do a major step, a major progress in the story, he is gonna have something new to add to his own personal story in comparison to some of the other crewmates.
Why did you want to be a CSEC officer in the first place?
That's a good question. There were several reasons, I guess.
Like what?
Probably the same as most officers. I wanted to fight injustice, wanted to help people. I guess my father had something to do with it too. He was CSEC, one of the best. I grew up hearing about his accomplishments or seeing his picture on the vids after a big arrest. He's taking my resignation pretty hard.
And now for everybody, probably one of the worst, or one of the best sounds in the world. I need to plug in my phone to the PC. There we go. And yeah, I know, I'm sorry. Professional streamer plugs in phone in the middle of recording midstream. Oh my god, this guy sucks. No, I simply need to do that because my battery is very low and I don't want my phone to basically disconnect. I can understand that.
That's tough. But you'd think he'd be impressed you're going after Saren.
My father's a CSEC man to the bone. Do things right or don't do them at all, he says. He thinks I'm being too rash, too impatient. He's worried I'll become just like Saren. He actually talked me out of becoming a Spectre when I was younger, for the same reasons.
You were asked to be a Spectre.
Well, I was targeted as a possible Spectre candidate, me and about 1,000 other Turian military recruits. I could have received special training, but my father didn't like it. He despises the Spectres. He hates the idea of someone having unlimited power with no accountability. He wouldn't like you, Commander. No offense.
I suppose I can understand his concern.
You can. But Saren's not going to play by our rules, CSEC's rules. If you want to nail Saren, you need to send someone who isn't restricted by policies and procedures.
Just because you can break the rules doesn't mean you should. I don't need to stoop to Saren's level to stop him. And neither do you, Garrus.
I see what you mean, but I'll think about it. Thanks, Commander.
Oh, look, Ashley Williams. The clock is ticking, bitch. Okay, Rex.
So, we've got Saren on the run.
Yippers.
It won't be long now. Saren's good, but I'm better.
Good. He's rotten. To the core. I could tell as soon as I met him.
Why didn't you tell me this sooner?
I would've if I thought I was important.
Fair enough. Also, Rex, member of the Krogan species, basically living human tanks with additional limbs on the inside. Just imagine a space marine in the form of a mutated toad, if you will, maybe a toad, maybe a turtle. Anyway, Krogan species, very enraged, always willing to fight. At a certain point in Mass Effect history, their planet got infected with a genetic mutation by the Salarians, which is another alien species, freaking duh. And basically, the genophage, which is the name of the infection, changes their genetic makeup. So out of thousands of eggs that are being hatched only 1 or 3 young survive. And Krogans are basically right now in a situation in which they don't really think about uniting. They're more thinking about just getting as much credit as possible and just fighting all over the place. Basically, quite an unfortunate fate right now for the Krogans.
I think I'd like to hear about it just the same.
This was a while ago. A bunch of mercs were bragging about a job out near the edges of the Terminus systems. They said it paid well and the boss was never around to ride them. They said he was looking for more men, too. So I checked it out.
I didn't know Saren was openly recruiting mercs.
It wasn't that open. and he only showed his face once. We'd been raiding ships in the area for months when we took out this massive cargo freighter. Our biggest haul yet. I was on board checking bodies for valuables, looking for some extra credits. That's when I saw him.
Just giant lizards. I would say it's a kind of a combination. I believe that Krogans as a race were definitely inspired by frogs at a certain point, but I think they were also inspired by some species of turtles, because some of the species of turtles actually have like horns protruding out of their heads. So there's definitely an inspiration coming right straight out of the freaking nature book, or National Geographic, if you will. Just remember times when discovering National Geographic and every single TV station like this were all about actual science and animals, and not about cheap TV shows, reality shows that nobody gives a shit about?
What did Saren want with the ship?
I don't know what he wanted. He was just moving through the ship, watching. A couple of the mercs called him by name, but he never spoke to them. Never spoke to anyone. I had a really bad feeling about him, so I got the hell out. Didn't even wait to get paid.
Okay, let's ask him about the cargo.
What kind of cargo was the freighter carrying? What was Saren after?
I don't know. All I saw on that ship was food and medical supplies. There were some basic weapons, but nothing big. If there was anything of value on that ship, I didn't see it. That's why I didn't mention it sooner.
What about the ship itself?
Whose ship was it?
There was a Volus trading vessel. Big one. Lots of guards. But they were no match for us.
That's it?
That's the only time you saw him?
Yeah. Didn't even know who he was. Still wouldn't if I hadn't joined up with you. But my instincts were right. Every other merc on that mission turned up dead within a week. Every damn one.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Okay, we need to upkeep the tradition.
Shepard.
Rex. Rex. Rex.
Okay, hold on. Because I need to move away from him for that to work. Oh,
Rex?
seriously? Come on.
Rex.
Why you don't want to work, huh?
Rex.
Okay, I don't know why I cannot do the Shepard Rex dialogue anymore with him. Yeah, because the cutscene when he says Shepard just gets automatically
Rex.
skipped, and I don't even like press anything.
Rex.
And that kind of bothers me a little bit.
Rex.
I don't know if my spacebar doesn't perform a
Rex.
double press,
Rex.
or maybe one of the mods actually automatically skips that for me. Which, if that's true, that kind of sucks.
Shepard.
There we go.
Rex. Rex.
Oh, come on, game.
Rex. Rex.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it anymore. For some reason, it doesn't work for me.
Rex.
I'm gonna try like 1 or 2 times, and
Rex.
yeah, for some reason it just skips the first dialogue option. I don't get that. There's probably some kind of a mod conflict that's happening inside. I already have a clip of the thing that I'm trying to perform.
Rex.
And for some reason, the game is basically deciding to skip that. I kind of wish there was a different button to start a conversation, but there is none. There is none. Oh well. Because basically it looks like this. Rex says Shepard and Shepard says Rex. That is the meme. That is the joke. But I guess one of the mods is actually ruining it for me. And that makes me displeased. Highly displeased. Alright, let's go to the Citadel. Actually, no, let's not go to the Citadel. Yeah, I have this level of charm. I think I'm gonna get the Admiral the first time I'm stepping out of the ship. And I don't want to do the side quest right now. Any other side quest from any other parts of the freaking Citadel space. Yeah, I think I'm good. Let's simply save the game. Right over here. And okay, ladies and gentlemen, people of Twitch, we're still going to continue the stream, but people of YouTube, this is the end of this episode in which we had conversations with pretty much every single crewmate. Well, almost every single crewmate. And we definitely have learned more about them, and a little bit more lore never hurts. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider subscribing. Ring the bell, stop it a like, leave a comment. All the links for the mod list and my socials can be found in the description below and pinned comment down below. And yeah, that's all for me. I'll see you guys on the next episode.